You are now listening to the podcast for geeks and the stuff they love, where each week we'll talk about everything from anime to movies, games, and prop collecting with the people who create and love it. I'm Jeromy.
I'm Vinz.
And this is your Geek Fix. Welcome to the first episode of our podcast, which is typically going to be released on Saturdays, but special release today, May the 4th. Do you know what the significance of May the 4th is, Vince?
Yeah, I believe it's Star Wars related.
It is Star Wars related. It is the birthday of the first Star Wars, 1977. May the 4th, 1977.
All right.
What was your first Star Wars experience?
I went to Disneyland Paris with my parents and family a while back, around 93. And I didn't know anything about Star Wars. I never knew about it. I was still a small kid, like I believe I was 5 or 8 or something. And then we entered Star Tours, which is like the main attraction for Star Wars. And I just saw these robots in real life. I saw R2-D2. I went into the simulator. It was my first experience with Star Wars, being immersed into the Star Wars world, actually. And after that, I just was like, I was amazed. I wanted to know more about it. And then my parents decided to record the movies from video. From the TV, and we watched them together, so we didn't get any spoilers. We got a very clean experience.
What was the first Star Wars that you watched?
It was A New Hope. But
was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But how do you say it? The whole beginning in the 10 to 5, like with Darth Vader, was cut off because we forgot to press record. So for me, for me, Star Wars always started at Tatooine with the droids.
So that's actually not a bad way to start the show. Now to think about it, there's a little bit of mystery, some dark space that way. That's pretty good.
And then when we got the special editions, then we found out there was a whole chapter before that.
Right. Yeah. Well, you missed the intro of all the blue text and stuff like that. I remember I was 3 years old. I think I might have been 4 actually at that point, because my birthday's in May, and we went to the theater to see the very first movie when it came out, and it was in the classic first thing I can remember, the first movie I can remember, the first theater I actually remember. And it was one of those classic theaters on the corner with a big kiosk around the top. You bought the tickets outside and things. And the thing I remember most about that intro was, of course, the way that he starts it with the bong, the big loud music starting off, and then all the text rolling and things like that. That stands out even now inside of my head of that introduction. And I got to meet the droids. Technically, my first experience around that age was, of course, they had people that were doing promotional stuff. So they had people in costumes, and we went to some park where we lived, where we were supposed to be able to meet C-3PO and R2-D2, but the R2-D2 was like the same size as C-3PO, like the same height.
Wow.
and I asked my parents, I was like, he seems really big. I don't think that's really him. And they said, no, that's movie magic. Like, that's how they film him. And then they just shrink it down, And for years, I told my friends, did you know that the way that they made this is they
just like the Hobbits,
had them full size. Yeah. It's shrinking down later. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. No, that was my first experience. When you went on the Star Tours ride, was this the Star Tours that had the original robot that was like the flathead with the okay. Yeah. I got you. They've upgraded it since, and now it's C-3PO that flies you around and through that experience stuff. But okay, very cool. Yeah. So have you been to Disney since?
I actually got engaged in Disney World in America.
You did?
Yeah. No, it's
really?
a while back.
The Florida one?
Yeah, the Florida one.
Okay. All right. So was this pre, I would guess pre the Galaxy's Edge era?
Yeah. Okay. It was just after the Star Tours update. So I did get in there multiple times. So back in, I think it was 2008. I believe. And I'm from Europe, so the exchange rate for the dollar was so low that it was actually cheaper to go to the US than to go to Disneyland Paris. And my friend said, well, why not just propose then to your wife and see what you can do? So half a year prior, I got together with some wedding planners and actually arranged the whole ordeal in the Cinderella's castle. We had a glass slipper made and engraved. In which there,
what? No.
Yes.
I went like a real glass.
Yeah, real glass. Like actually,
really?
Yeah. Later we saw the actual artist who made these things.
Wow.
So yeah, I went full on. So I could, but so yeah, we had the tiara, we had the sash, we had the Cinderella's Royal Palace dinner, and I did it all around my birthday. So I was just trying to be a big kid and said, oh, I wanted to eat in the castle on my birthday, and my
right
then pre-fiance didn't know about it, so it took me half a year to prepare. We got everything arranged, and so everything was made. And then, we went there. First day was just a normal day. We went to see the Magic Kingdom, and then on the second day, which was my birthday, then we went also totally normal day. I think we went to Animal Kingdom, and then we went back to the castle, and then my wife, now she's my wife, she kept saying, oh no, it's his birthday, don't pay attention to me. And she got a sash and a tiara and a little magic wand, and then the princesses came up also to take her away and have a photo shoot and everything, and then of course the ring came in on a glass slipper, and I proposed to her.
Wow.
Wow. So
so you didn't put the glass slipper on her?
No, it's small. It's not life.
I was gonna say, it seems dangerous.
Yes. Very much so. But the fun thing was
end badly.
but the Disney parks they celebrate Christmas for like a month or so. So I felt it was pretty in my place to celebrate both my birthday and our engagement for the rest of the week. So you get these buttons when you come in the park first, and we put them on our backpacks. But we also had just engaged and birthday, which basically meant that we got fast passes to everything and didn't have to wait the entire week.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So
wow.
I've probably seen all of the Star Tours now that were in there. All the cinematics. I've seen them twice, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you thinking about going back to check out Galaxy's Edge and things like that?
Yeah, I heard mixed things about it. Some people were really disappointed. Some people were really, I mean, the stuff that's in there is really amazing, like especially the branding and the theming. Mm-hmm. So I would love to go there. Although I did, I had the luck of getting a son a couple of years ago. Yeah. And he's now almost
I remember
2.
that.
Yeah, so he's still a bit too young to actually go intercontinental and go there.
So we've known each other for about 2 years then. Yeah. A little over that. Oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty good. We actually went this year to Galaxy's Edge. Right. I wanted to go for a while, but the issue is I also heard, the mixed reviews that I've heard has been, number one, the crowd size, because there's also limits on how many people they put through some of the rides. Okay. And so like Smuggler's Run and things like that. And so for that reason, a lot of people would, they went to the expense of going on this trip, and then they'd get there, and you had to, in the morning, you have to get on your phone and basically reserve your spot in order to be able to get on the ride. And maybe even then, maybe it's not guaranteed, because some of these rides shut down a lot too. And so there's been those issues as far as crowd size and things like that, which COVID didn't help. And then the other piece that I've been told about is that people getting there and having issues with whatever it is that they pre-reserved. So I figured out the trick to be able to go and do the Galaxy's Edge thing and do it really well is you go the day after. Here in the US, we have a holiday for Martin Luther King's birthday.
Okay, yeah.
And so Martin Luther King's birthday, for whether you're in Florida or if you're in the California locations, both of them they give discounts to the residents of that state. So even though it's not like a huge holiday where a lot of people come in from out of state, because most people have just been there for Christmas.
All right. Yeah.
At that point. And so, but people in the state, they will go on Martin Luther King's birthday. And then the day after that is the deadest days of the year. And so we went out there the day before. Actually, we showed up on Martin Luther King Day. And I got to say this too. Our flights round trip were $40.
Oh, wow.
To get there. So, because I have a kind of a large family. And so we got there and literally you just walk right in. We went right up to every ride. We rode every ride in Galaxy's Edge more than once.
Oh, nice.
In fact, multiple times. Like Smuggler's Run that people have a hard time getting into. We rode it at least 4 or 5 times.
Nice.
We did, I mean, all the really good rides we did multiple times. And it was no problem whatsoever. It was the best. We actually did stuff so much that the kids at the end of the day were like, can we go back to the hotel now? Like they were bored with it.
Wow.
So, I mean, we blew it out. And then the other thing that was interesting is, they have all these live performances. Mm-hmm. So there's supposed to be Kylo Ren that comes out, and then you have some stormtroopers and things, and they come out and do a whole dialogue with people that are standing on the street.
And a really big R2-D2.
Yeah, and a really big R2-D2. But they're up there, and they typically plan on an audience, but the streets were empty. Oh. And so I got to see that even when the streets are empty, they still have to carry on their dialogue, I guess. So I have video of like the stormtroopers carrying on one directional, conversations with people that aren't there. And then Kylo Ren, they refer to Kylo Ren and do a whole dialogue with him. He wasn't there either. So he's not there. Just a couple stormtroopers doing dialogue by themselves and stuff. It was a great experience. So if you're going to go, the best time I think is around that time. But kind of a good thing to work out. Yeah, this is usually too when we do something special. Like, do you do anything special for May the 4th, or do you celebrate it at all?
Well, not really. It's not that big here in the Netherlands.
No, it's not a national holiday.
No.
It's
well, it is. It's close to Liberation Day, which is a totally different.
Oh
thing.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
But, we have a Remembrance Day. I think is on May the 4th. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. But Star Wars wise, we have a couple of conventions that are getting pretty big.
Oh, really? Okay. Have you been to them?
Yeah, a couple of them. We have like I believe it's called the Dutch Comic Con, which didn't run into any copyright issues as far as I knew.
No,
but because of Dutch Comic Con, I guess.
Right.
But
it's not the yellow with the black logos or anything like that.
I don't know. They use the name quite profoundly, so might be that they just branched out, or some guys being really really smart with their brand.
Right. Probably pretty safe.
Yeah, pretty safe. They're doing it for a while now. It's pretty fun. So the it's mainly it's like a comic convention basically, but there aren't maybe the 501st will be doing something, the Dutch Garrison, I don't know, but there's nothing big happening really for Star Wars related stuff. And for me, basically every day is Star Wars related. So
I can see you have an AT-AT, or we used to call them AT-ATs, but I know a lot of people these days don't like.
Oh, I call them AT-ATs as well.
Term.
So
do you? Yeah, right. Yeah, you got a big one back there.
Yeah, it's the old Kenner one. I recently.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. I had one of those. It seems like didn't it have a neck that tended to kind of break down a little bit?
It's a real.
Is that the one with the rubber neck?
That's not rubber, but it's pretty hard plastic.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
So it can get brittle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there was was a snipe on eBay.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I
did you? You got it on eBay? On eBay?
Yeah, for $60, which is really cheap.
That is really cheap. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I have the 3-foot Millennium Falcon.
Oh wow!
That got released. I don't know how long ago it was, about 10 or 15 years ago, and I bought it in parts because it was too expensive to buy all together that people had on eBay, and so I bought a lot of the pieces and then put it together. And my whole plan when I started the channel, the YouTube channel, my plan was that would be the first thing that we do. and never touched it.
All right.
I haven't done anything with it. It sits behind me all the time, but yeah, I haven't done anything with it.
That's a shame.
Yeah. You know, another cool thing that did open recently, that also is kind of Galaxy's Edge related, is the Galactic Starcruiser. Have you heard much about that?
Yeah, I heard a lot of negative stuff, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot of grumpy people on Twitter. But
really,
like, I'm not.
What sort of things have you heard most?
Especially the price.
Oh, well, yeah.
It is expensive, but of course you're buying a little slice of Star Wars for yourself.
Yeah.
And then there are also, like, I believe there is a lightsaber you could get. Like a very intricately built one that looks pretty realistic, but it's only limited to, I believe, one person per session or one, something like that.
Yeah. I've heard that part too. I've talked to a couple of people that have actually gone to kind of get their feel for it. And I agree. It's. I mean, what you're paying for is the experience, and you got to kind of keep that in mind. But it is pretty. I mean, they're looking at it and they're trying to treat it as if it is a cruise, like as if you're going on an actual cruise.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen how much cruises are. They are not normally that much. You can go on a cruise for a pretty good price these days, for quite a number of days, more than 2 days. But at the same time, I mean, this is a 24-hour story that you're literally able to, if you're willing to be involved in it. And that's the big thing that they told me was the more involved you're willing to be and the more that you're willing to do, really and truly, you become a part of that story. As far as the price too, they did tell me that it's really based a lot on the room. So the more people you can fit into a room, the less that price becomes.
Okay. And
the more that you can kind of share in that. And so a couple of them, they actually went with some of their friends, and I think they had 4 to a room, and they felt like it was per person. It wasn't a bad price. And then they went all out. They stayed up all night. They did every single little piece that they could. The other thing that I heard is some of the thing that some people didn't like was the trying to use their own phone. So there is an app. You do have to use the app to participate in this whole thing. And they give you an iPhone if you're willing to take it. And it's no additional cost. It comes with the thing. But a lot of people want to use their own device. And the problem with that is, number one, it doesn't run the app very well. And then number two was that you can't video at the same time. Right. So if you want to take pictures and do video, you can't do both. So most people that tried doing it on their own phone said they wish that they would have stuck with the device that they were given. And then the people that did use the actual device that they were given said it was much better. True, you have to carry around 2 devices to take pictures as well as doing things, but that it was a smooth experience because you need it both. This part's cool, I thought, was when you go to Galaxy's Edge, which there's a day where you go to Galaxy's Edge, which there's some positives and negatives. The negative that I heard was they put you into a vehicle that on the inside does kind of look like you're inside inside some sort of Star Cruiser transport ship. Yeah. But it's just a truck that you're in, right? And and instead of like doing video and stuff like that, like they do with everything else to make it look like you're immersed, like you're actually in something, it's pretty obvious that you're inside of a truck, and then it backs up to Galaxy's Edge and it opens up. But when you get to Galaxy's Edge and you use the special device that they give you, so for example, when you go to Smuggler's Run, the scenario changes for you.
Okay.
To play into your storyline that's on Starcruiser. In fact, I heard that. So I now, having gone to the Galaxy's Edge and done the Smuggler's Run, you are kind of confused as to what exactly it is that you're doing and why you're transporting this stuff supposedly. Okay. And that apparently is a big key piece of the storyline to the hotel experience. Okay. And so when you get off, the phone will actually trigger a different video, and it tells you some slightly different things, and it plays into your storyline. So they said that was pretty neat. That sounds pretty cool. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Would you do it if you had the opportunity? Yeah. You were there anyways. I mean, would you shell over the I don't know what it is at this point. 4,000.
It was a lot, I guess. It really depends. If I had the money to spend, definitely. But it sounds a bit like something that we had in the Netherlands. There was this exposition a while back. I think it wasn't called Visions, but it was basically you would get a QR code badge and you would scan it in, and then you could select your own character in Star Wars. It was a Star Wars exposition with all the props, and basically you could choose light side, dark side, or if you're a smuggler or something, and choose some generic templates. And then going through the exposition, you would also make choices and do quizzes and stuff that would affect your journey, basically. And at the end, you would get like this big screen of your character with their story and background based on the decisions you made during the exposition. So that was pretty fun.
Who put that on? Like, was this tied to the actual company?
Yeah. It was official.
Really?
Yeah. Let me just check. It was a while back. Star Wars Identities, it's called, or was called.
Huh.
Yeah. And it was pretty fun. Of course, it's a gimmick, but I guess they have upped the gimmick for that price point, I guess.
Well, yeah.
I hope so.
It is a lot the same though. It sounds, that's exactly what it is. There's a lot of small games and interaction things you do on the phone, and it does build up a character. The thing that I'm impressed with that I think would cause me a headache or stress is all of these actors. So the storyline doesn't just always stay the same. It literally changes based on the people that they interact with there. So each time you go to dinner, for example, they come, the characters come around and they kind of pump you for information.
Okay.
And based on what you tell them, that also plays into the storyline, and they basically build it around that. So within the 2-day period, like they have to come up with all these decisions and the storylines and then also remember stuff. I don't know how they pull it off. It just seems like that would be the most stressful thing, every single night. Because not only is it live theater, but it's also, I mean, you're having to do all this stuff on the fly that I don't think
you can't break character. Also,
no.
So I imagine they would just rush to the toilet and read their lines and just rush back. This is
well, and there's so many tiny things that people thought were not important. Like one of the individuals that I know, what he said was there was one point where he went to use the restroom, came back from his room, and one of the characters was leaned up against one of the walls, like they were just waiting to go into their scene.
All right, yeah.
And so he thought it was basically, he thought that they kind of had left character and they're just hanging out and they're, just leaning up and waiting and stuff. And he goes up and talks to them. They have a short conversation, but it turns out later on, no, that was planned. This is all part of the story. It was good that he happened to come across him. Yeah. And then he ended up playing into the final story. So at the very, very end, there's a big thing that nobody will tell you anything about. I've talked to 3 people now, and none of them will tell you details about exactly what happened because they say it'll ruin it, even though I'm not so sure I'd ever end up doing it or not. Both of us, Vince and I, are happy to entertain being invited to do this if anyone out there is listening. Yep. But at the same time, I think wow. I mean, I don't know what exactly happens, but I do know that somehow it all gets wrapped together and then it's just kind of exposed to everyone. And it's a big aha moment for everyone. Some people cried. It was so big.
So you're all clones. You have to go to battle now.
Yeah. I think, oh man. Yeah. It sounds cool, but probably not something I'm going to be doing tomorrow, but yeah. Have you watched some of the, there's a lot of Star Wars shows that came out this year. So we've got, you had the Book of Boba Fett.
Yep.
And of course the carryover from the Mandalorian. You had Obi-Wan's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, looking forward.
You got Clone Wars has kind of been re-released. Visions was pretty good. Did you get to see that?
Yeah.
I like that, but that was not expecting that. So if you're an anime fan, I think that was a pretty good experience, written and directed and animated by well-known anime artists and production groups. And then you had Bad Batch, which I haven't watched yet, so I'm can't really talk too much on that, but at the same time, there's more and more. They're really, really working hard to release everything they can underneath between Marvel and Star Wars kind of this year. But what did you think of after the Mandalorian last year with Luke showing up and things? What did you think of the Book of Boba Fett?
It was a very different take on that I would think they would have taken. Of course, you have to fight against years and years of lore and established expectations, of course. I think maybe chronologically they could have done it a bit different, because the whole Tusken Raider bits kind of you lose momentum at a certain time, and I noticed that too. But I do like the Forgotten Glory Boba Fett. But it would be nice to see him in his prime as well, because he basically goes from falling into the Sarlacc pit to being an old man.
Right, all of a sudden. Which, I mean, I mean, I guess I can't say that they didn't have a choice, because the actor is naturally the age that he is. Because at the same time, one thing Disney's proven is that they can de-age people pretty well. I mean, and Luke was a good example of that. And I will say, between the Mandalorian and this release, the Luke that they did was pretty good. I don't know if I was that into the story piece of that, but I was impressed with how well and how long it went on too, of being able to have him and reenacting all that. And of course, you had the real actor doing the voice, but that part was pretty good.
But for example, the guy who played Kid Boba Fett, so to say, Daniel Logan, he's like 34 now.
Right.
So they could have picked him as well. But
that's true. Yeah.
But
you know who Patton Oswalt is?
Yeah.
You ever heard he does a whole skit about meeting George Lucas. That if he met George Lucas, how disappointed he would be, or especially if it was just before the prequels, that George Lucas would be basically saying something along the lines of, well, do you like Boba Fett? And oh yeah, I love Boba Fett. Well, he's going to be in this one as a kid, and oh wow, and then what happens and stuff. His dad dies and he gets real sad and stuff. And that's basically the storyline for every single character. Yeah. Darth Vader, Anakin, everybody. It's like their mom dies. They get real sad. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. I'm interested to see where the movies and things go.
Yeah.
I do have a hard time. Some of the more recent releases, I do have a little bit of a hard time adjusting to what. Yeah, I'm very much part of the original Star Wars group, and but I mean it's still entertaining. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. It's definitely an adjustment to think about and stuff. But anyway, well, so. What would you say is the thing that you're looking forward to most as far as Star Wars goes, or or tell me something about, or a toy release or anything like that you know about that's going on?
I started. We talked about the Kenner AT-AT. For a while back, I just had this yearning to get more Star Wars vehicles, and I bought a B-wing and a Y-wing. Like the old ones, because those are. I grew up with Power of the Force, like the '90s Star Wars, with the Luke on steroids kind of figures, the big buff guys, and those vehicles weren't in there. I believe they got re-released later, but like the B-wing, the Y-wing, the Millennium Falcon got re-released. But those were really cool vehicles, and I'm a real vehicle buff. So I bought those, and then I just found the Shadows of the Empire Outrider cheap, so I got that one. I got the AT-AT cheap, and most of the stuff I like with the Star Wars collectors, which is there are some opinions on it, but for like diehard Star Wars collectors, if it's not complete, it's already cheap. If something is broken or yellowed or the stickers are gone, it's super cheap. So I buy best they call it beaters, which are like beaten up toys. And
Right.
I always think that toys should be played with. So a well-played toy for me is worth as much as a complete in box mint Luke Skywalker or something on card. So I've been restoring a lot of these with 3D printed parts because I have multiple 3D printers. There's a YouTube channel called Toy Polloy, and it's a UK-based guy called Dave, and he uses really interesting ways to restore stuff. But he also has a very he's a wizard at making replication sticker sheets for old stuff, like Kenner Star Wars and everything. So when he does a video, he says, "Okay, I'm gonna repair the Millennium Falcon," and then he just goes into Photoshop. You see him do that, and then he just replicates it from sticker sheets that he scanned or pictures that he found, and he makes his own sticker sheets. He uploads them for free. You can download them for free, print them yourself, cut them out.
That's great.
So
I like that.
For me, that really started the whole restoration bit because it looked possible to do. So I found a bin of 7 Y-wings without their struts for $35.
Oh wow!
And I've been printing spare parts for a month now just to get them complete. So I'll be using his stickers, and he also says, it's not for resale. So I will be donating a couple of these Y-wings to charity. And others.
Cool. What charity?
Some friends of mine, they have a local charity called Pompidom, which is a toy store for people that don't really have the means to get toys for their kids or anything. So basically they get some couple of minutes of free shopping, and they are allowed to pick whatever they want, within reason, of course, for free. So I think, especially with the Y-Wings, I'll probably put them on as a sort of lottery because, you don't want some people will just grab the 2 of them and they're gone, and I would rather have it go to some kid who really wants it than someone who's going to resell it on eBay or something.
Well, but that's pretty cool. I like that. If you have more information about that, we'll maybe we can put it inside one of the descriptions or something.
All right,
Tell us a little bit about some of the things that people can check you out on.
I'm mainly active on Twitter. I used to have a YouTube channel called Massive Damage or Massive DMG, which was Game Boy based. So the serial number for the Game Boy is DMG01. So it's a bit of a play on words. So I'm on Twitter. I think it's at MassiveDMG_ that you can find me on. And I'll basically share whatever I'm working on or whatever fun stuff I find online there. That's also the best way to contact me. And apart from that, I'm more of a doer and a viewer than actually creating content. Apart from this podcast now, then. But
hey, that's awesome. Well, and then be sure and check us out also on YouTube at Your Geek Fix. Also our community page there for sharing any content that you might have. We're always happy to see things that you build out there, and also send us your questions because we're going to be answering questions on this podcast. So be sure and leave us a note there and check us out next week. Anything else you can think of?
Sounds good.
Okay, sounds good to me. This has been your Geek Fix.